Food, I hate food, I hate food! 2024, I've been showing some old clips because I've had the freaking flu! Kind of partially, par-bake, I made that word up, I can do whatever I want, get your own show.
Comedy Kitchen with Chef Sel was recorded in front of a fake audience.
Hey guys, Chef Sel right here. Not bad, not bad. Fake audience is still lively and ready to go. Hey, thanks everybody for all the well wishes on Facebook and here on YouTube. It was just the flu, but it was one of the bad ones. You know, you get the bad one, like, you know, cooking, I don't want to cook, I don't want to make any food, I hate food, I hate food. All right, so we're in March here, 2024. I've been showing some old clips because I've had the freaking flu. Today, in honor of St. Patty's Day, sort of corned beef and cabbage, but nothing to do with corned beef and cabbage. We're going to make for you today, and I hope you do too, a Reuben Quiche with homemade Thousand Island dressing. That's right, step by step. Let's get right to it. And please subscribe right here. Boom. By the way, recently we hit 500,000 views. Yes. And we have a lot more subscribers. We're getting about 1,000 to 2,000 a week. Keep them coming, folks, and comment. I don't care if they're nasty. It doesn't matter. What the nasty people don't realize, every time they comment, I move up in the search. All right, let's go. Let's make some Reuben. Boom. Here's the cast of characters right here. And you're gonna get yourself a nice deep dish, 9-inch pie plate. And I'm gonna put this in the fridge because we're gonna make this crust from scratch. It's gonna be a gluten-free crust, by the way. You can use regular flour too, but why would you want to when you have, drum roll. All right, stop. Bob's Red Mill, gluten-free 1-to-1 baking flour. Stuff is great. It's a 1-to-1, so you can bake with it 1-to-1. You know what I mean, 1-to-1? All right, in the fridge this goes. And in that same fridge, I want you to get me 1 cup of cold butter out of the fridge. But keep it in the fridge, which I have done. I mean, do you see it here? Until you're ready to use it. Give me 3 cups of this gluten-free baking flour. Teaspoon of salt. And I don't know, anywhere between 6 to 10, maybe 12 tablespoons of cold milk. I'm using half and half. Now that I'm ready to start, I'm gonna put this in the fridge. It was already cold, but you know, can't hurt. I'm gonna tell you what you need, and while I'm making this stuff, I'm gonna tell you how much. Before we start, 400 degrees on that oven. That's going to kind of partially, par-bake, I made that word up. I can do whatever I want, get your own show. We're gonna par-bake, or actually blind bake, just for about 10-15 minutes until it gets a little bit brown, that pie crust that we're gonna make right now. I want you to get a pound of shaved, and you can get it, and they'll shave it for you in the deli, okay? Shaved corned beef. Get yourself tomato ketchup, little ground mustard. A small jar is fine of sweet relish. And remember, this is also for our homemade Thousand Island. Get yourself a yellow onion, that's fine with me. Brown mustard, this is stone ground. You can just get some brown mustard, that's fine. Smallest jar you could find of mayo. Ooh, it's getting hot. Well, I know why. And give me a lemon and a half a pound of Swiss cheese. I'm gonna put that in the fridge. Pam, for that dish, and off camera hitting in all the PAs, that's a production assistant, is the sexy sauerkraut. I got myself an 8-ounce bag. That's fine. We're going to layer that into the pie itself. It's straining, that's why I had it off camera. All right, let's get started. Let's make that pie crust. Okay, we have ourselves 3 cups of that flour we spoke about. I'm going to dip 8 to 10 tablespoons of this milk here, very cold milk, or half and half. And I have 2 sticks of butter that I've chopped up here. to show you, huh? And get yourself one of these things, okay? It's a blender. It's like a pastry blender. You want to call, some people call it a cutter. It's very easy to kind of chop up this butter into pea-sized pieces, but we'll get into that later. There's 2 cups of that flour in, a cup more of that flour in. Yeah, I left out the kosher salt, so there it is there. That's a teaspoon. Nice hefty teaspoon, by the way. And we're gonna stick chopped up butter to little cubes. Everything's cold, or I tried to keep it cold. So now I'm gonna get in there with my fingers, and I wanna break apart all these little pieces of this butter. And like I said, after we make this first version or first step of this dough, I'm gonna put it in the fridge, and then we're gonna put it on the pie plate and bake it. Then we're gonna put it in the freezer. Very important, so it doesn't melt on you. You know when your pie crust melts, you don't know why? That's why, because you didn't freeze it before. All right, let me wash my digits. And we use this little baby. If you don't have one of these, you can use a fork and smash it up. You're not looking to totally combine everything. Okay, see? I'll bring it up close. You catch that? Not a big mystery. And now I'm gonna get in there, squeeze it with my hands. Not too much with the hands. All right, I like the way this is looking. Big pieces, small pieces, no bigger than a pea. I'm gonna start adding this milk, tablespoon at a time, or half and half, whatever you happen to have on hand. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. See how that plays. Get a spatula that's kind of hard, you know. You don't want a soft spatula. You know what I mean, guys? Yeah, I know. That was cheap. I go for the cheap laughs. And you're not going to know if this is able to come together until you get your hands back in there. So don't be putting that ring back on. Let's see what we got. Give it a scrunch. I kind of like it. I might give it just a little more, just to say I did. That's another half a tablespoon I put in there. And now we're going to mix it around. See, it's not crumbly, but it's also not wet. You probably have to maybe practice a little bit, but you should get it. Just make sure it's not too much liquid in there, that's all. Because you want this butter to kind of pop when you put it in the oven. And if you have a wet dough, it's not going to pop. It has to be a little bit dry. That gives you the flakiness. All right, so let's turn this out onto our board here. And if you're using regular dough, you just want to form this right just like this. Leave it alone. And because of the gluten in your regular dough, you don't want to overwork it. It's going to get tough on you. But this has no gluten in it, so I can keep doing this until I become good looking. No comments, folks. No comments. And then we're going to make a hockey puck out of it and refrigerate it. I'm going to go 30 minutes in the fridge and then roll it out into this pie dish, which is prepared with Pam. Looking good. All right. Hockey puck time. All right, I'm going to wrap this up, saran wrap, fridge it, and what say we start making a filling while that's doing its stuff there in the fridge, okay? Boom. Now, because the Thousand Island dressing is part of the, I'll call it stuffing, you know, the ingredients to this pie, we're going to make this first. I have a cup of any mayo you choose. I Pammed this little thingy so it slides out a little better. Got a half a teaspoon paprika. Oh, you should smell this paprika. And we got 4 tablespoons of this sweet relish right here. Right here. That's 2, 3, 4. A little bit of juice is fine. Makes it nice and flowy. 4 tablespoons. Any kind of ketchup you choose. I chopped up. I had like those sliced gherkins. The sandwich gherkins in my fridge. I sliced a couple of pieces up. Maybe tablespoon. I don't know what a tea tablespoon is, but you figure it out. Tablespoon. And now there's salt in a lot of this stuff, but so let's put a half a teaspoon. Let's mix up this 1,000. I tasted it for salt. It's fine. You can put this aside. Now let's get that dough out. Roll it out. Stick it in a pie plate and bake it for like 15 minutes at 400. And then we'll layer all the sauerkraut and the Swiss cheese and the mustard and stuff and make a pie out of it, okay? Boom. So I laid out a couple of sheets here, saran wrap on a large surface somewhere. unbeknownst to you. Ooh. And I panned it up. I have my dough here that's been chilling. And this is the way I do it. You can do it with flour underneath, because when you pick it up to put it in the pie plate and you have regular dough, it's not going to come apart. This is dying to come apart. It's just the way it is. It's like the nature of the beast, okay? So what we'll do, as we're rolling it out, make sure it doesn't stick. You can also put another layer of saran wrap on top. I chose not to do that, just to screw you up. Nah, just kidding. Just kidding. All right, so that's the best I can do, folks. Let's go. And you want to just roll it out between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch. A lot of people make the mistake when they get to the edge here. They push down, so you get skinny here and fat here. Don't do that. What else can I tell you? And again, when it's gluten-free, it spreads out very quickly. It doesn't bounce back, so don't, or as I always say, don't baby it. All right, I rolled it out, as you saw, and I stuck this cookie sheet in between the saran wrap and the table, so now it's going to be easier to flip. So what's going to happen when I flip this, it's probably going to break off in spots. You're just going to put it back on there, all right? So let's flip it. Take our lumps. So far so good, but it's should break off. See, when I wanted to do something wrong, it doesn't. All right, carefully, please, please, please. Remember, saran wrap, not your friend. Okay, now how are we going to get this into the plate in the middle here? Lift, let it fall. Don't worry about the breaks. The breaks are going to happen. Story of life. Here's a big break here, but that's okay. See, just go like this. You regular dough users are probably laughing at us right now, and that's okay with me. So wherever I can at this point, I'm going to fold it under itself. Okay. Yeah, I had a couple of little nips and tucks and some potholes, all patched up. And I'm going to just take a fork, I'm going to pan it. I usually do a flute, but there's not enough around the edges on this one. You just give it a little fork thing. There we go. All right. Let's freeze it now, 15 minutes at least. It's going to go in that 400-degree oven. Clean up a little, and we'll come back for the next step. Would you like to do any slicing while my head's here on the cutting board? No? I'll be back. This is the liquidy part. It's not all liquid. Like an egg, yeah, I guess you can call it liquid. But anyway, in here, 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard, about 1/2 teaspoon of dry mustard, about 1/2 teaspoon of salt. We'll salt as we go because the Swiss cheese, things like that, etc. 1/2 cup of Thousand Island dressing that you saw me make with my own 2 hands, and you saw it with your 2 eyes, and it took about 2 minutes. I have 1/2 pound of Swiss cheese. You can use Gruyere cheese. Nice sharp cheese would be great. So I grated up that whole 1/2 pound. I have that ready to go, but that's not in here yet. I have 4 beaten eggs in here. About 1.5 cups, a half and half. Wow, 1.5 cups, a half and half. My 15th book. And 2 tablespoons of grated onion. Let's mix this together. So all that's left to layer in this now getting nice and chilly pie crust is a lot of shaved corned beef and sauerkraut. I'm gonna layer that in. We're gonna pour this in, bake the heck out of it. Okay, this is ready to go. It's gonna settle down, so we'll kind of fluff it up again. Let's get out that frozen pie crust. Steels. Right there. Oh, it's great. Good. See, you freeze it because this stuff tends to kind of drip off the sides. It happens with a regular pie crust too. So just make sure you freeze it a good 15. Even if you go a half hour, 45, it's good. This went about 30 minutes. Cookie sheet. I like to soften the blow of the heat on the bottom with this little pad here, silicone mat. Now we're going to blind bake it. I say blind bake it because you're supposed to put like ball bearings in here and, you know, seed. I don't know what you're putting in. I don't do that. If it puffs up, just take a fork and get the air out. Don't get excited. Almost to the top rung. Second one down, oven, and set it at 400 for 15 minutes, and I will be back.
The final frontier.
There you have it. See, it's slightly browned here. Not quite crispy yet, but that's okay. We're going to be baking the heck out of this. Remember that sauerkraut? It's all drained. I mean, it's got a little moisture, but come on, who wants dry sauerkraut? Line the bottom, folks. You can leave a little bit on top, like a little garnish to say, hey, guess what's in here? You know, that kind of thing. Same with the corned beef. You know, just, hey, man, look what's freaking in here. This is about a pound of corned beef. I don't know if I'm going to use it all or not, but you get it shredded. Go to your deli, right? And shredded just means, you know, man, it's just a little thin. You know, that's all. Just lay it in here. Get a couple of pieces in there. It's like you're building a sandwich, really. That's good. Okay, so I have the two main ingredients. Ironically, I put in last into this pie shell here. And now another sort of main thing. Look at this. Shredded all over the place. Sharp Swiss cheese. I'm going to go a little bit of salt, 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon. And off camera, I put a little bit of lemon juice over it. I'm going to put a little bit more, maybe another 1/2 teaspoon. Simulates sometimes salty tastes, which is good. And it brings out the flavors, you know. It's all citrus thing. All right, now, we're going to pour this liquid mixture that we made in. You got to give it some time. The thick stuff's going to kind of stay on the top, which is kind of good. You know, there's stuff like the relish and stuff. But you want to get that liquid all the way to the bottom. That's what we're doing here, right? So you got to pour and wait, pour and wait. Try not to get it on that crust. You don't want a soggy crust going in, you know what I mean? See, here's that solid stuff from the relish. Okay, I like it. And a little more of this cheese, Swiss cheese. Oven is now down to 350. I'm gluten-free on the crust, as you know, so I'm going to go 350, check it after 20, 25 minutes. And if it's starting to brown too fast, I go to 325. And you'll see when it's done, it's going to get just slightly jiggly in the middle, but not liquid. Stamp it down a bit. And a little cracked pepper. How could you not? Careful going to the oven. It is liquid, and it's going to kind of flop around on you, so just take it slow, folks. It's not a fingertip operation, I'm telling you. It's my 17th book. All right, I'm going to put it in 20 minutes, maybe total 25, 30, maybe even 40 minutes, but watch it. Keep your eye on it. Hey. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Reuben Quiche with all the delicious components of your favorite 2 a.m. diner deliciousness, all in a pie. Gluten-free. Make sure you like this. There's a little like button there, and hit that bell, and please subscribe. And come on back to Comedy Kitchen with Chef Sel for more of these delicious delights. I will see you next time.